She screamed, right in his face, in front of the house, in front of his wife, in front of the baby. Her finger jabbed his chest. "This isn't your land anymore, Malcolm. It's ours now." He didn't flinch, didn't blink, just stood there, one hand holding a folder, thick, stamped, sealed. The sun hit his face. Her shadow crossed the broken sign behind him. Private property, knocked sideways, half buried in dust. I swear if that were me, I don't think I'd stay that calm. He looked at her, not with anger, with memory. No one spoke, but something just started, and it's not going to stop here. They call him Malcolm Reed, 52, used to wear navy blues, now mostly flannel and denim. He wasn't the loud type, never had to be. 6 years stationed in Norfolk, 4 more running back-end systems out of Kings Bay. You don't touch military infrastructure without learning one thing. Timing isn't about speed, it's about control. He came back here after his father died, didn't sell the house, didn't flip it like folks said he would. He fixed the porch, repainted the siding, hung back the same mailbox his grandfather made in '68. The deed had his name, but the land, that carried blood. He met Rachel here, married her on the front steps, built the crib with his own hands in that garage behind them. That's where Zora was supposed to come home to. Soft light, slow mornings. But now his wife sat 5 steps away, in a wheelchair, holding their newborn like she might break if she breathed too hard. Malcolm didn't look back at her, didn't need to. He felt her hand tighten on the blanket when Meredith started shouting. He had seen this kind before. HOA reps who thought authority came printed on clipboards, who confused silence with surrender, and made power out of paperwork that never quite held up in the court. 3 weeks ago, he got a letter about unauthorized fencing. The fence had been there since '92. Then it was about the porch light, then the mailbox, then a warning about increased noise complaints. He didn't have a dog, but his cameras caught Meredith tossing bacon under the neighbor's fence at 10:47 p.m. He saved the clip, didn't send it, just filed it. That's who Malcolm was. Not a brawler, not a pushover, but the kind of man who didn't blink, because he was already writing the closing statement in his head. A week ago, he dusted off the private property sign, straightened it, bolted it deeper, said nothing. Today that sign lay twisted in the dirt, and her voice, sharp, public, wrong, had just tripped the first wire. His thumb pressed slightly on the folder's edge, stamped, dated, legal, like a blade still sheathed, waiting, not for justice, for precision. She didn't knock, didn't even pause, just stepped onto the edge of his driveway like it belonged to her. Red blazer, gray hair, clipboard, power wrapped in performance. "I need to inspect your perimeter," she said. "New HOA modifications, safety compliance." She never said her name, just representing the community. Her voice was firm, coded, the kind used to managing bake sales and budget votes, now pointed at a man holding his baby's future. Malcolm didn't move, didn't nod, just shifted his eyes, slow, to the clipboard. He saw the letterhead first, same format, same font, but the watermark was off-center, the HOA seal blurred, scanned, reused, and the date. The date had been crossed out, by hand. She kept talking, citing subsections, bylaws, throwing acronyms like DARTs, permissible setbacks, community standards. She'd memorized them, rehearsed them, spoken them like truth for years, so long she couldn't feel the fraud anymore. Then, she bent slightly, pulled the private property sign from the ground like a weed, tossed it sideways, stepped forward, 1 foot past the line, 1 second too far. Malcolm didn't flinch, but his fingers curled slightly tighter around the folder. "You've been non-compliant," she added. "Multiple neighbors have filed concerns. I'm here to de-escalate before this becomes a formal citation." Across the street, a man in gray sweatpants and house slippers lifted a coffee mug to his lips. Didn't sip, just watched. Meredith didn't notice. She was facing the sun now, arm raised, pointing inches from Malcolm's chest. No badge, no court order, no authority. But she stood like she had them all. He glanced down, saw a single speck of mud on her loafer. And that's when he remembered the HOA vote 2 months ago. She had lost. The new bylaw was rejected, yet here she was, using the same document, same tone, same tricks. Only now, she believed it would work, because Malcolm hadn't stopped her. Not yet. Sometimes you watch people cross a line, and it reminds you of the times no one stood up for you. You didn't yell, but you never forgot. If you believe some stories deserve a sharper ending, stay. Subscribe. We tell them the way they should have gone. He didn't reply. Not to her email. Not to the thread she copied to 12 other neighbors. Not to the passive threat. The property at 83A may fall outside the updated HOA guidelines. Malcolm just stared at the screen, then clicked forward. One recipient, Walter Briggs, the man next door, retired, quiet. Used to be a defense attorney for the state. Attached, a single PDF, scanned, marked, labeled. The old HOA charter, highlighted with a note. Amendment rejected. April, HOA vote incomplete. He didn't add a message, didn't explain, didn't need to. Walter would know what this was, what it meant, what was coming. Outside, a sprinkler ticked on. Somewhere, a screen door slammed shut. And in the HOA group thread, neighbors began replying with single-line affirmatives. Yes, agreed, fine by me. Go ahead. She was building consensus, not for law, for control, and he let her, step by step, as planned. He got up, walked to the kitchen, Rachel's tea still warm on the counter. He didn't sip, just looked out the window. The flag was still there, folded in half by the breeze, sun faded, navy blue, the same flag from his last deployment, hung the day Zora was born. Back at his desk, he read the email again, then paused at one line. I believe everyone is aligned now. Anyone confused may not fully understand how HOA law works. He didn't smile, didn't react, but his finger tapped the mouse twice, then stopped. She thought the vote made her right. She thought silence meant surrender. He wasn't staying silent. He was letting her step deeper into her own contradiction. A block away, Walter's phone buzzed. He was already at his desk, reading, frowning. 3 doors down, someone pulled their curtain just enough to peek. Nothing looked out of place, but the energy had shifted. Malcolm Reed, ex-Navy, system engineer, father, had just sent his first move. No noise, no headline, just a folder, and the right eyes on it. This wasn't war, not yet, but the law had just been loaded. Saturday, community center lawn, folding chairs, coffee and paper cups. Meredith stood dead center, red blazer, clipboard in hand. She cleared her throat like it was a courtroom, read from a printed list. Lot 83A, property line irregularities, potential encroachment. Pending review under HOA, Section 6. C. She didn't look up, didn't need to. She had the mic, she had the votes, she thought. Then she lifted the paper, a scanned amendment, grainy, half-legible, signature smudged. This document proves the clause applies retroactively. We're just enforcing what was always policy. The crowd nodded, some slow, some unsure, but nodding. Malcolm stood at the back, arms down, folder in hand, didn't step forward, didn't say a word. Instead, he walked, past the chairs, past the people, and stopped at the folding table marked Community Info. He placed a single sheet down, gently, aligned it with the edge, pressed it flat. It was clean, sharp, black ink on thick white, 2003 charter, original stamp. At the bottom, amendments rejected. July, county clerk certification attached. He didn't stay. He didn't announce it. He just turned, stepped away. Then Walter stepped up, not called, not expected, no microphone, just his voice. I wrote that clause. In 2003, I argued the rejection in court myself. Silence, not a pause, a freeze. You could hear the wind catch a flag. You could hear Meredith blink. She tried to speak, started with, well, then stopped. Because it wasn't just Walter's voice that mattered. It was who didn't move. The board members, the ones who'd nodded earlier, now shifting in their seats. Across the lawn, a young woman stood holding Zora. Rachel sat behind her, pale, watching. Malcolm turned slightly, met Rachel's eyes, didn't smile, just nodded once, then turned back to the center. He didn't look at Meredith. He didn't need to. Meredith's hand trembled. She dropped the amendment copy. It flapped once, landed in the grass. A boy, maybe 6, ran over, picked it up, brought it to Malcolm. He didn't even glance down. "Not mine," he said. The boy froze, then backed away. From the edge of the group, an older woman muttered, "Too soft for Meredith, just loud enough for others. That lot's been there since the war. Her husband built it. Everyone knows that." Another chair creaked. Someone stood. Didn't say anything, just walked to the table and looked at the document Malcolm left. 2 others followed. No one spoke, but the shift was real. No threats, no shouting, just a crack in her control, in their faith. And Malcolm? He was already walking home, one hand in his pocket, one still on the folder, because this wasn't the final move, just pressure, steady, precise, and Meredith had just stepped in to check. Monday evening, HOA monthly meeting. Same folding chairs, new tension. This time, it's being streamed. Members, neighbors, watching from their phones, their porches, their kitchens. Meredith walked to the front with purpose, her voice steady, louder than usual. "This will clear things up," she said. "We have security footage of the morning in question, and yes, HOA protocol was followed." The projector clicked. Footage rolled, a shaky cam. 3 figures entering Malcolm's house. Timestamp cropped, no audio, murmurs, 1 or 2 nods. Then Walter spoke. From the second row, dry, calm. "Play the whole file." Meredith blinked. "I just did." "No," Malcolm said, for the first time. "I will." He stood, walked forward, pulled out a USB from the inside pocket of his jacket, handed it to the tech at the booth. No microphone, no flare, just a nod. The screen blinked, new video, same house, same day. 5:42 a.m. Meredith's voice, loud and clear. "Push the latch. He disables the alarm at night. Then, you don't need the badge. Trust me, this won't take long." The room stiffened. No one blinked. "On screen," the baby cried. Then, one more voice, her voice, clearer. "Don't worry, I've done this before. Nobody here fights back." Silence, long, dense. Then Walter stood, faced the camera in the room, no expression. "This time," he said, "someone did." Meredith's face drained, clipboard down, hands shaking. Someone in the HOA row stood, didn't say a word, walked out, one of her allies. A second followed. From the back, an older woman mumbled, "She really thought no one would stop her." The moderator coughed. "Let's take a pause." But the camera didn't stop, and neither did the truth. Malcolm didn't speak again. He stepped aside, sat near Rachel. Zora slept in her arms. He looked at them, only them, like nothing else mattered now. On screen, the footage played one more time, and behind Malcolm, unnoticed until now. The private property sign, the one Meredith kicked down in episode 1, now stood straight, clean, framed perfectly by the camera angle. No one touched it, no one claimed it. It was just there, where it always belonged. Nobody yelled, nobody defended her. The meeting continued, technically, but everyone knew it was already over. For weeks, Meredith ran this game, intimidation, rules, loopholes. But in one moment, a camera, a sentence, a file sent 3 days early. She collapsed. And Malcolm? He never raised his voice. He just waited, watched, and made sure the door slammed quietly behind her. They didn't clap, no one cheered. The chairs scraped as people stood, looked around, and left slowly, like walking out of something heavier than they entered. Meredith didn't say another word. The cuffs clicked once, then again. That was it. Walter stayed behind. He didn't speak either. He just set the HOA binder down, face up, open to the page they had all ignored for years. No speeches, no looks back. Malcolm didn't watch her go. He stepped out the side door. Zora curled against his chest. Rachel leaned on his arm, quiet, still tired, but safe. The porch creaked as they sat. Afternoon light now, longer shadows, softer air. Malcolm looked down, beside the step, where it all started. The sign. Private property. He reached, dusted it, turned it upright, pressed it gently into the dirt. Straight this time. Then, he opened a small cloth pouch, pulled out 2 tiny baby shoes, faded pink, frayed laces, set them beside the sign, didn't explain, didn't move. Zora stirred. Rachel whispered something. He nodded, just once. Then came the wind. Light, but enough to sway the sign. It rocked slightly, then held. Behind them, Walter passed by on the sidewalk, stopped, reached into his pocket, pulled out a keychain, old, navy blue, the old community logo, faded gold. He didn't say anything, just placed it on the railing. Malcolm looked at it, then at the shoes, then out across the driveway. Still no smile, still no words, just a breath, as if something heavy had finally been put down, without anyone needing to see it fall. A bird called out once, far off. Nothing else answered. Then came the final line, software steady, under the wind. Not everyone fights to win. Some just want no one to touch what they've guarded too long. The shoes were never moved again. He left them there, on the porch, side by side. The sign held. Even through rain, a small tilt, but it stayed. No one asked questions, no one needed to. Sometimes, truth doesn't echo in voices. It stays in silence, in dusted wood. In the soft click of a door no longer slammed. People stopped by less, but those who did stayed longer, looked more carefully, spoke more gently. Walter never took the keychain back. It faded slowly under the sun. Zora grew, learned to walk where her sister never could. And Malcolm? He didn't speak of that day, but every morning he passed by that spot, adjusted the sign, once, twice, then moved on. Because some things don't need a crowd, don't need applause, just need to stay in place. Like a line never crossed, like a promise never broken. Not every story ends with victory. Some end with a boundary finally respected.